Welcome, everyone, to episode 26 of the Fast and Fabulous podcast. I have with me today Amy Jo. Amy, I am so happy. Do you go by Amy or Amy Jo? What do you prefer?
Well, my family probably all still calls me Amy, but Amy Jo is what I much prefer just because it's not run of the mill and I'm
I
not very
love
run
it.
of the mill.
I love Amy Jo. So, Amy Jo, welcome to the show with me. I am so excited to have you on and that we could get together today because you're a teacher and you have a busy, busy, crazy schedule. And I am so inspired by your story. Every single time
Thank
I
you.
see your story, I am like, I need to talk to this woman. She is so inspiring. So you're a teacher. What grade do you teach?
I teach primarily junior English. I teach senior English. I teach college English. And
So
I
older
teach,
kids.
yes, lots of
Yeah.
upper class electives too. Yeah, so I've taught it all, but only high school. I could not do anything younger than about 10th grade.
I hear you. I hear you. So you are also a health coach. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
And how is that going? I mean, I love whenever I hear that somebody has turned their love and passion for intermittent fasting into kind of like a side hustle. So how's that going for you?
I mean, it's good. I go from having 3 or 4 people at a time, and then I'll have these lulls where I don't have any, or I might just have one. And I have my own Facebook group, so I do a lot of, like a lot of informal coaching there too.
Okay.
But I mean, it is something that it's probably the last thing I ever saw myself becoming. Like I went from 300 pounds and now I'm kind of a health ambassador for my school. I'm a health coach, and like people around town, they're like, oh, that's the intermittent fasting lady. Not that I'm famous or anything. It's just, that's become part of my identity. And I used to only have one identity, and that was I was an obese woman. So it's very nice. Yeah. Thanks.
You've made an incredible transformation. You went from being around 300 pounds, which is considered morbidly obese, and you've lost over 100 pounds, right?
My highest weight ever that I ever saw recorded on paper was at my OBGYN, and it was 300 pounds. I never weighed other than when I went to my OBGYN. The last recorded weight that I have before I began intermittent fasting was 272, and that was in November of 2019. So I have no idea what I weighed through the holidays. And then when I started on January the 6th, because I did, like I said, I didn't weigh. So yeah, I was getting back up to 300, but I've lost on paper from my highest of 300, 100 and about 120. And then I've lost 92 of that with intermittent fasting in the last 3 years. Yeah.
That is incredible. Incredible. Now, going back a bit before you discovered intermittent fasting, we'll talk about that in a moment. What did you did you try any other methods to lose weight before that?
Name it.
Just anything,
yeah. Weight Watchers. I mean, I remember doing Weight Watchers after my son was born, and eating baked potato with cottage cheese and nothing else on it, that kind of thing. I also remember the Weight Watchers day when I saved up all my points so I could eat a grilled chicken pizza from Pizza Hut that night.
Wow.
Gag. I've taken the pills, I've done the cabbage soup, I've done the shakes, I've done the bars. I lost 50 pounds with low carb in and around about 2012, and I got down to about 250, and then the holidays came, and the rest is kind of history with that. It all started coming back on. And then with my hip injury that led to my hip surgery in 2016 is when everything really, really, really got bad for me. So I've done everything. I've counted carbs, I've counted calories, I always mention when I talk to people like the low fat Snackwell's cookies in the 90s.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, the chocolate cookies with the little marshmallow, layer.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been overweight to some degree, even mildly, since I was a teenager. And active, and a size 12, and I was a cheerleader, and I was in the band, and I did all the things, but I was always just, on the heavy side. And, I just, there's a lot of emotional, issues involved in that too. And there's no trauma in my life at all. I mean, my life was pretty perfect actually, except for I was the big girl.
Yeah.
And, I was very active and very healthy. But yeah, when I got married and then after my son was born, that's almost every woman's story that you probably talk to. There it
Everyone,
comes.
here
Yeah,
it comes.
there it comes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hormones, babies, stress,
Yes. Yes.
bad sleeping patterns. It all
Yes.
just mixes up and causes us to get, the weight goes up. So
Yes.
you got up to 300 pounds. And how did you first discover intermittent fasting? Everyone has a unique story about this.
I love to tell this story. I've been on Jen's podcast. Lisa Fisher interviewed me. I've talked to people a lot about it. It started with Candy and Sandy. I never can not give Candy and Sandy credit. They are two of my closest friends at work. And our state health insurance was actually offering a program called Naturally Slim. It's now called Wonder, WND, capital R.
Okay.
And they didn't call it intermittent fasting. What they said was you can eat whatever you want to in an 8-hour window. And then for 16 hours, you're not going to eat any food, but you can drink any non-caloric beverages you want. So it was not a clean fast. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. I'm a Christian, so I know about fasting. Okay. I was not really aware that there was any other way to fast other than you just didn't have food. And I'm not a big Coke drinker. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I would have a little cream in my coffee, or I might have a Diet Coke in the morning, and then I wouldn't eat until lunch. And I really wish I could nail down the exact moment that it happened when I found clean fasting. I just stumbled in Jen's group on Facebook. And I told her this. I lied and said, I think you had to just, I didn't lie. I think you just had to say you would read Delay, Don't Deny. She had not
Yes.
written Fast, Feast, Repeat, or had not had come out yet.
Yes.
But what stuck out to me before even I learned about the clean fast and through this Naturally Slim program was Candy and Sandy were doing it. And I walked in the teacher's lounge one day, and Candy was eating a cheeseburger and French fries. And I said, "What are you doing? You can't have that. You're on a diet." And she said, "Oh, no. This is different. You can have whatever you want in your eating period of 8 hours." And I thought, maybe I could do that. So that was probably in October of 2019. And I said, "Okay, I'm going to do this with y'all when we come back from Christmas break." And I started on January the 6th. That was my first fast, I think 15 hours. And then a few days later is when like I said, when I found everything that changed everything, the clean fast.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you just literally had this program at work. It's so interesting. Naturally Slim is what they called it, right?
Yep.
But they didn't obviously know about the clean fast, and you learned just by stumbling into Jen's was it the big group she had way back when?
Yeah, that was the one that ballooned, and then she had the advanced group when Fast Feast Repeat came out, and I joined that group too because I had read Fast Feast Repeat, so I was in both, and I'm in the community in her Delay Don't Deny community. Love it. I'm in there every day. So yeah, I mean, the clean fast changed it all, and I've been fortunate because I was talking to a friend of mine from school just a little bit ago, and she was like, "I've got to give this a try." She has an autoimmune disorder, but I don't know if I can do what I'm going to do about my coffee. And, that's a lot of people's biggest concern.
It's always the biggest concern.
Yeah. What about my sweetener? What about my creamer? And I did not have that hurdle to overcome. If I drank coffee, yes, it was a hot milkshake, but I didn't have to have it. I'm a big water drinker. I mean, right now, water everywhere.
You have your topo. I love it.
Oh yeah.
It's my favorite.
And so I didn't have to overcome that hurdle. So I am sympathetic to people, that do. And I just say it's just one thing. It's just one little thing. And are you going to let that one little thing hold you back from all of these million and other wonderful things that could happen? So but that's how I started. And I usually will look and say, okay, today is day whatever of how many days. But I mean, 3 years, and then whatever from January the 6th to today it's been. So that I've not fasted in that time every day.
I love that. And that's so important for people to hear, because it's not that we don't take days off, or we don't shorten our fasting windows, or maybe lengthen them some days, or maybe we have a longer eating window. It's all flexible. And that's why we're able to fast every day. And I can sit here and confidently tell you, and you can confidently tell me, I've fasted every single day for the past, 3+ years. Were there days where I got a 14-hour day? I'm sorry, 14-hour fast in? Yes. I mean, it's been short at times. It's been 12 hours at times, but it's also been like 25 hours at times. So it's definitely something that is for everybody's life. And it takes a lot of trial and error to find what we like to call sweet spot. So what is your sweet spot?
Oh gosh. We talked before I got on here.
Yes, we did.
I've done it all. Today so I'm a huge fan, and everybody knows this is I say it's my jam. And it's not, Jen never calls it, she says, a modified approach to down days, but I'm a huge fan of down days and up days, and most of the time I do incorporate the mini meal.
Okay.
I just love it. It's what feels good to me. It is, I found a rhythm with it that I really, really liked. I have done I really hit my stride first. My first sweet spot was 19.5.
Okay.
And that was during COVID. So March the 9th of 2020, we got out for spring break and we didn't go back to work,
Oh, I know.
No school,
Yep.
Yeah. So everybody's like, how did you stick with this when you're not at work? And, well, in addition to being a high school teacher, an adjunct college instructor, and now a health coach, my husband and I and my sister and her husband own a fairly large comic and collectible shop in the town next to us.
Oh my gosh. Wow. This has put a whole new layer on you, Amy. I mean, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. So what happened, we had to close the doors because we were not a necessary entity during COVID. And in order to pay the bills, we had to really start selling online. So our eBay sales skyrocketed, and we just worked there together, the four of us, every single day almost during the week. And so I had plenty to do. Plus, Michelle, and then I don't know if this is everybody's experience. Well, I know it isn't everybody's experience. After 2 weeks, I could tell a huge difference. I had all this natural energy, right? So I had plenty to do at home. I organized my closets. Rush is my husband. We cooked. I made all kinds of different, that's what people did during COVID. They experimented with recipes. I worked in my flower bed, cleaned and organized my house, worked at my small business. And so I had lots to keep me busy. And I found a window of anywhere from 19.5 to 20 and 4 is what I really liked. And then when we went back to school in the fall of 2020, my planning period was at 1:00. All the kids were gone because they had to sit in the room during break and lunch that year. And I didn't want to eat with the kids staring back at me. So when my window just opened at about 1:20 every day when the kids got gone, and then I would open with something small, OMAD Jen's way, and then I would come home, we would have dinner, and I would close my window by probably 5:30. We like to eat early, so
do we.
Yeah. So that was my first love was OMAD, and I worked up to that, from about 16 and then 18, and then but in March of 2021 is when I started experimenting with the down day, up day, and incorporating the mini meal, and I loved it, and I still love it. I have not lost a single pound, a whole pound, in a year. As a matter of fact, I'm up about 4 pounds from my all-time low that I hit in July of 178. I'm hovering right around 180 and 182. But I've had a whole lot of health problems in all of 2021. And So I'm maintaining, you know.
That's a win.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So and I didn't know it. I
Yeah.
didn't know it.
It cannot feel that way.
No. And sometimes it still doesn't.
Yeah.
But Jen really opened my eyes about that last March. Um, I was really upset and I was venting about it. And she said, you are maintaining. I'm not in maintenance, but I'm maintaining through lots of, and we hear about this in the community a lot, and you probably hear people talk about it a lot in your group. Lots of things have happened to me since I had COVID. Yeah, it's wreaking havoc. It's inflammatory, and it causes all this mysterious weight gain. And so what it has done to me is, I had my husband, my son, and I all three had it in December of 2020, and I went back to work in January of 2021. And after just a few weeks at work, I donated blood against the wishes of some of my very good friends, because I wanted to know if I had antibodies, because I was going to donate plasma.
Sure.
You remember that when everybody's
doing
it?
Yes.
And so I donated blood. I had never donated blood before. And 2 days later, it tanked my whole system. So yeah, I've had an ambulance ride. I've been rushed to the emergency room. I wound up having to have a hysterectomy in November of 2021. So, I like to think that you would know it if you looked at me and the way that I look and the way that my attitude is, that I kind of try to have. But yeah, I've had a lot of crazy things happen to me. So I'm maintaining through all of that. So I know it's going to take a while. Yeah.
It is because listen, and Jen's right, that just being able to maintain through all of that stress, all the inflammation from all the medical problems that you've been having. And I just hope that you continue to heal so you can eventually get to where you want to be. But you look beautiful. And like you said, I honestly couldn't tell by looking at you that I know that in your head and in your body, it feels different. Because that's rough. That is rough, having to go through stressful situations, but that's life, right? So whether it's COVID after effects, any other illness, a death in the family, you name it, it's life, it's part of it. We're in this for life, so we adjust accordingly. Will you always be losing through these major life events? No, definitely not. I've had tons of times and instances in my life where similar kinds of things, not like that, but just medical stuff comes up and you're just like, oh, well, I'm just maintaining for right now and that's fine. Or maybe it goes up some and it kind of stings a little, but we just fast on, because we know about the healing going on in our own bodies, and that on the other side of this is where the freedom is. And you're already in the freedom. I feel like you're just, you're coasting and you're going to get to where you want to be naturally.
Yeah, I am coasting. Like you said, it does sting. And I do still, kind of feel sorry for myself a little bit sometimes. But back in the summer, I had my fasting insulin tested because I had never done it before. And the more I learn about, complete like metabolic panels, the more I realize that needs to be a part of it. But a lot of doctors they don't want to test for it. And I really have been pretty outspoken about that in the community, about how that peeves me. I'm so fortunate that my nurse practitioner, her name is Tara, and she's not only a friend of mine, but she's smarter than a lot of doctors I know. And if I want to know it, she will test it. She's never, and she'll say, no, your insurance may not pay for this, and I don't care. So I don't care. I don't know. I need to know. Yeah. I had my fasting insulin tested and my C-reactive protein tested. And while I was at it, she said, do you want to have your sed rate tested? And I said, sure. Because those test for autoimmune conditions, inflammatory markers in the body. And my C-reactive protein ideal is 5. Mine was 4.2 maybe, and my fasting insulin was 4.3. It's supposed to be under 5. So that was a huge signal, to me that, okay. Amy Jo, everything is okay.
Everything's going all right.
Everything is okay. And I know if I had them tested some other time, when when something's going on or when I'm sick or whatever, that those numbers might fluctuate a little bit. But that was a big victory for me to know that, I'm keeping my inflammation down. My fasting insulin is where it needs to be. And I can't say this for 100% certainty because nobody knows for 100% certainty, even doctors. But I do, from my experiment of one, like we talk about, I do believe with my whole heart that if I were not intermittent fasting, my life I would be miserable. I might be debilitated. My blood panel would definitely look much different, and I would look and feel much different if I weren't.
Absolutely. I mean, blood work doesn't lie. So,
No.
and that's the best thing. Like, you get your labs done. If you're wondering if your scale's not moving, go get your labs done and see if they've improved. Because if they have, something's happening.
Yeah, and if your doctor won't do it, then do it yourself. Go to
Mm-hmm.
walkinlabs.com and do it yourself. It's worth it to know. Everybody needs to go, and I can't remember her name. It's in the community today. So if you go to a post from 2/20 of 2023, a woman posted today about how she got her blood work done and her A1C was normal. Her fasting glucose looked good, but her fasting insulin was 26. And she said, had I only gone off what my HbA1c said and what my fasting glucose was, then, my doctor would have been like, oh, everything looks good. But that's not the full picture.
No.
It's not the full picture. And I said, everybody needs to know that. You need to post that on your everywhere. You need to tell everybody far and wide that what we are being given and then saying, oh, it looks good, or they're giving us a pill for it or something else for it. That's not always the whole picture. And I'm not a medical expert. I'm a health coach and I'm a teacher. My degrees are not medical in any sense of the word, but people need to do their own research and their own reading and advocate for themselves, because I'm learning more and more. Most people do not have a healthcare practitioner that I do that has my best interest at heart, and a lot of people, they don't.
You're very fortunate. You really are, because I can totally. I have a lot of people who have the same thing. I have a healthcare practitioner. He's okay, but I tell him I do intermittent fasting and stuff, and he agrees, and he says it's great because all my numbers look great and I weigh a normal weight, but he doesn't really know about all the the asking about the full metabolic panel, asking about the full iron panel. It turned out I had non-anemic iron deficiency for my whole life, and no doctor ever could tell me that, because they didn't test my ferritin levels, which is the amino acid that allows your body to hold on to iron. So I went through my whole life being non-anemic, whatever. I had like migraines and it was just really bad. So anyways, don't take what doctors say at surface level. Do your own research, advocate for yourself. And just because somebody has a DR in front of their name doesn't mean they're your Lord and Savior.
Right.
So you're a teacher, and we kind of talked about how fasting fits into your teaching life, but you're off for the summers and stuff, and you have a small business and you're busy with your family and your community. So when you're not teaching, how does your typical day look? Are you still doing just the ADF? Are you throwing in some OMADs? Or are you kind of just all mixing it together?
Oh yeah, I definitely take a hybrid approach. So I'm not just strictly 5-2 or 4-3. For those who don't know the lingo, 5 days, 5-2 means you have 2 down days followed by 2 up days. And then the other days are OMAD. Sometimes I might have 2 small meals, a small meal and then a larger meal. But this week I am aiming for 4-3, because somebody reached out in the community about someone fasting Wednesday for Ash Wednesday.
Oh,
And
okay.
I said, okay, yeah, I'm in. I'll do that. I'll do that extra day. So I had a down day today, and then I'll have one Wednesday, and then I'm aiming to have one Friday. Fridays sometimes are a good day for me to have an up day, but because we like to go out sometimes with friends on Fridays, but I don't see anything in my future for that Friday. So that'd be a good day to have a down day. So I don't, a lot of people say they do better at work because there's structure there. I do better at home. Like today, it's President's Day. My husband and I, he's a teacher too. We've both been off. He's had, he intermittent fast with me, I tell people. So during the week, he just, I know, it drives me crazy. But no,
that was great.
Yeah, he does. He does during the week. So like he skips breakfast and then he'll have really a small lunch and then we'll have dinner together. Because the priority when I first began was I wanted to have dinner with my family. So another major life event that happened to me was my son got married this summer. So he's not here. Yeah. He and his wife live in Starkville, Mississippi at Mississippi State University. So it's just, we're just empty nesters now. And that makes it a little bit easier. I mean, he was 20 years old already, so it wasn't like I was having to prepare meals for him. But Rush has been here. He and my son went and had breakfast together this morning because they were going back to school. And then Rush had a late lunch. And I mean, I did my own thing, I did laundry. I've watched some TV. I've took a bath and did my hair. It doesn't bother me. It did at first, but if I don't have to. I guess what I'm trying to get to is I don't have to have any certain kind of structure because my why doesn't have anything to do with weight loss anymore. It did at first. But I mentioned my hip. So my hip surgery in December 2016 was to repair a torn labrum. That was, it was I didn't even know I had it. It was causing me lots of nerve pain in my back, down my leg. I think I counted up. I've seen 6 different doctors. I've had 8 MRIs. I don't know how many dozens of nerve blocks and steroid injections. I was on a lot of heavy medication. And the 2 weeks, at the 2-week mark was when I knew I had to do this for my pain's sake, because I did not know how much weight. I didn't weigh for about the first 4 weeks, but my pain was remarkably improved after just 2 weeks. And so I'm off all the medicine. I went to see my orthopedist in August, and he was like, how long has it been since you've been here? It's been 2 years since I've seen you. What's up? And I was like, I'm intermittent fasting and my inflammation is gone and my pain is just about gone and I've lost all this weight, So my why is about, I want to be pain and inflammation free, because nerve pain is extremely difficult to deal with and almost impossible to fix.
Lady, I'm sitting here like kind of stunned right now because I went through not a torn, what was it? What did you have torn in your back?
Torn labrum.
A
torn labrum in my hip,
I have a 10 millimeter bulging disc sitting on my S1 nerve. So I had a lot of nerve pain too, going back down my legs, under my feet. I could barely walk in the summer of 2021.
Yeah.
I had 4 different doctors tell me I needed spinal surgery. I mean, it was, again, I was not going for it. I didn't believe it. And I'm so glad that you stuck with your fasting, because I mean, I believe that for me, at least, I know that my intermittent fasting has helped me heal and helped me get stronger and helped me be able to get to where I am right now. I'm pain free and I'm not on medication anymore, just like you. I mean, that's such a huge thing. If for anyone who's never had nerve pain, it is huge.
No, it is. I was considering disability. I mean, I was going to work every day, and I'm a teacher, so I have to stand a lot. And I was coming home and I was taking gabapentin and I was taking 800 milligrams of ibuprofen 3 times a day,
Oh my
buffering
goodness.
it with buffering it with Tylenol. I had Percocet as needed. I don't know how many different kind of muscle relaxers. And so I would go to work and I would come home and I would medicate, and then it was like repeat. Riding in a car was excruciating and almost impossible. I mean, my quality of life was diminishing like day by day, it felt like. And I can remember, and this is like hurtful to talk about, but it's now I'm very grateful. But I remember one night my son had company over, and I was just hurting, and I could not even be here and hang out with them and entertain or whatever. And I took a Percocet and I chased it with a glass of wine, and I went and laid in the bed on my stomach and just laid there and cried until I just went to sleep. That was what it had come to for me. So that is, when people ask me, what do I need to do first? How do I start? My first answer is always, you have to find your why. Why am I doing this? And the people that I coach, that's the first thing we do. Okay, what is your why? And I have them repeat it every time we talk from week to week. What is your why? Because if you forget that, then on the days that it's hard, then you're just going to say, forget it. Or the days that you step on the scale and it looks like you've gained 5 pounds overnight, which is absolutely impossible, you're going to say, forget it. Or the holidays come and you want to just gorge yourself on everything and you say, forget it. I still do anything that I want to do. I eat anything that I want to eat. I just do it within my window, because on the other side, there is healing for me. And it can't be about weight loss anymore, because I haven't lost any weight. I mean, I'm slowly shrinking. Okay. I can tell that in the way my clothes fit. I like my rings. I've had to have all my rings resized. And yesterday I just had it resized and it feels like it's a little looser still. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to pay more money to have it resized. So I know that I am slowly shrinking, because we know about body recomposition, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
and how, when your body uses fat for fuel, it's eating different things off your body than just the glucose that's circulating through your blood. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, it has been challenging at times, but like I said, I've never not fasted in that time. And I think the shortest recorded, because I still use my Life app, I just want it for the data. I know that you're not in heavy ketosis after 18 hours, or you're not automatically in autophagy at 24 hours, but just to see the hours
I do the same
fasted.
thing. Yeah.
Yes. Just to see the hours fasted,
Mm-hmm.
was 12 hours. And that was the day that I woke up from my hysterectomy.
Wow.
Because the first thing they do is say, here, eat food, here, drink Sprite,
Yes.
whether you're hungry or not. And of course, I partook, because I was, by that time I was famished. But
sure.
Yeah. Every day is a fast. It doesn't look the same
Ever.
for me. It never looks. Sometimes it's 14 hours, like you said. Sometimes it's 42 hours. Sometimes it's 18. Sometimes it's 19 hours and 23 minutes or something.
Right.
But every day is a fast.
I love that, because every day looks different. And when people come to me, and I don't know about your clients, but sometimes they want me to tell them specifically what to do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always really look like that, because I can tell you what I did.
Yeah.
And I could listen to your, how much weight do you need to lose? What's your stress like and all this, but they want it down on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I understand structure and all that, but it really is trial and error. So what's ever going to work for me may not work for you, might not work for somebody else. I want, at least for me, I just want to set people off on the right path so they can do this themselves. So I love that we can instill this into other people and keep spreading the seed of intermittent fasting through the world, because I think that, just like, it's just such a natural way of living and eating. And I don't know about you, but when I discovered it and I started to lose weight and get my health back and my life back, I felt like I've been duped my whole life. Like I
Oh,
just like
100%.
I felt cheated. I felt robbed because I've been spending so much money for so many years on crap that didn't work. You know,
Yeah, well, that's what they want is our money.
that's it.
This doesn't cost anything.
That's why
And
they hate it.
yeah, that's why they hate it. And so I had she's a friend and a former student of mine who has had wild success intermittent fasting, and she's actually healing severe insulin resistance.
Wow.
And she messaged me last night and said, some people are telling me that I'm destroying my organs. Can you destroy your organs? And I said, if fasting is balanced with feasting, you're not doing any harm to your body, and you're not doing anything that your great somebody didn't do because they didn't have a choice. And this is kind of my motto. Fasting is natural, it is historical, it is ancestral, it is biblical. And down here in the Bible Belt where I am, people like to hear that.
Yes, they do.
You would not, and this is what I said to her, you tell these people, you wouldn't be here today, you wouldn't be alive if your ancestors had not been intermittent fasters. That's all there is to it.
We're all naturally intermittent fasters because we all sleep.
Yeah, if you sleep, you fast.
That's right. If you sleep, you fast. So if you're sitting here listening to us talk about not eating for 18 hours at a time, if you're sleeping at night for 12 hours, you have fasted. So all you have to do is extend that to start. That's what I tell people. Just extend that 12 hours. Start with something that you know you can achieve. 14 hours. Okay. Yeah. That's easy. Move on to 15. And then so on and so on. So when you were losing, and even now, I just like to talk about exercise. Do you exercise with your protocol or no?
No. No. Well, so I had the hip surgery, and now with fasting, the pain is virtually gone. But I do still have issues with it. I am still weak in that hip, and so I am very careful with it. I had an elliptical. I tried that. It aggravated it a little. I got a rebounder, and that was great for my hip, but not great for the bladder of a woman who just had a hysterectomy. So there goes that.
Right.
But I have a friend at work who is an intermittent faster also, and she's a tiny little thing. She's always worked out and ran, but she's a year older than I am, and she's like, I'm just getting this belly and this, in my haunches back here around my back, and it's just 5 pounds if I could get it off. So she and I walk every day at break together, and
that's wonderful.
That's the only exercise that I've ever done.
Walking is exercise.
Yes. Oh, movement. I tell people, move, whatever feels good to you, whatever you like to do, just move. It doesn't have to be HIIT. It doesn't have to be weight training. It doesn't have to be Zumba. I would love to do a lot of those things, but I've accomplished a lot without it. And walking for me, we walk 20 minutes every day. That's how we spend our break, is walking every day.
That's beautiful. And even getting outside, it brings your cortisol level down.
Oh yeah.
It's so beneficial to walk outside. And when I was in weight loss mode, I just walked. That's all I could do. I mean, I couldn't do anything else.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, it's not absolutely necessary to do all these crazy workouts to lose the weight. Is it helpful? Sure, if you can tolerate it. But if you have an injury and you're being cautious, which you should be if you have an injury, then find something that works for you. Walking, anything low impact is wonderful to incorporate into your fasting routine. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about your eating windows and how you're pretty free with what you eat. You don't restrict yourself of anything. You're like 100%. Is it more about quality now for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I tell people I eat what I want, but what I want has changed a lot. So to circle back to all the crazy post-COVID stuff that happened to me real quickly,
Yeah.
one thing that has happened, and I believe, and some of my doctors believe, I had this before, but COVID revealed it because my immune system went wacko.
Mhm.
I have a disorder called alpha gal. Okay, ALPHA-GAL. It is short for something galactose. What it is, it's very prominent. If you Google alpha gal and look at images, you'll see a map of the United States. It's very prominent in the southeastern part of the United States. It is an allergy to a carbohydrate that is in non-primate mammals, and it's caused from tick and chigger bites. So I cannot eat anything that's considered red meat. I cannot eat beef. I cannot eat pork. I cannot eat venison. I can only eat things that swim or fly. And so I had two really bad reactions in the fall of 2021. The one anaphylactic reaction was to pork rinds. My throat closed up.
Oh my goodness. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That is
No,
insane.
it was terrible. So that has been one thing that has been a necessary dietary change for me is
An allergy, of sure. Jeez.
yes, a severe, and what complicates it is that I also have, it's called mast cell activation syndrome. Basically, my immune system is like hyperactivity, active. It's not like an autoimmune disorder that attacks healthy cells. It can be triggered by anything. Stress triggers it, insect bites trigger it. And then when I have the reaction, my body sees the reaction I'm having to the sugar in the meat, then my mast cells kick in and hives all over, throat closing up, etc. So, yeah. And I've had acupuncture just to help with the severity of it. And a lot of people reintroduce meat on a regular basis. I have not. I've had beef here and there, but pork I'll stay away from because it just scares me too much. But that really steered me in a different direction than I was already heading as far as cleaning up and eating mostly real food, because you don't get 300 pounds by eating yogurt and berries and grilled chicken and fruit. Right. I ate a lot of processed garbage, fast food. My husband was a football coach for 20 years. My son played. So, and he works about 20 miles away from us. So it was on the road a lot. And just, Michelle, busy mom, wife, pick up something from the drive-through, whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
So I had already begun to see the importance of eating mostly real food. And then when I had to eliminate, there's no bacon, there's no even lean ground beef or venison or, anything like that. So it's either chicken or fish. Yeah. And a girl gets tired of things that fly and swim. So I do eat a lot of healthy fats. I love avocado and yogurt and nuts and cheese and eggs. And I tell people I could make a Walmart list and buy like the same 10 things and probably eat off that, for a whole month. That doesn't bother me anymore. So
I can totally relate to that too, because for me, it's all about quality now.
Yeah.
And if it's like some processed, fast food drive-through kind of crap, I would rather just pass on or wait until I can get something more window worthy. I understand that this is life and it's not always going to be that convenient. Yeah. Sometimes I have to, get the chicken salad at Chick-fil-A because I don't have any time for anything else.
Yeah.
But yes, when we fast, it's not really, we can eat whatever we want, but that whatever changes. The quality of whatever we're eating changes. And then it's true for every single person that I've ever talked to who has had long-term success with this life. Every single time. It's a natural process where it's called appetite correction. We naturally crave healthier food choices. Who knew? It's not, you don't feel deprived. You don't feel anything. You actually want these foods.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
insane what happens to your palate, to your body.
Laurie Lewis, who I tell everybody she's my fasting muse. I adore
I
her.
love Lori.
Oh, I love her so much. And I hope she watches or listens to this. I love you, Laurie. She
Lori,
knows that
come on.
I know she loves me. She knows that I love her. She says, and when she said this, it was just like a light came on in my brain. Fasting is not a diet, it is a quiet. And when I heard her say that,
Ooh,
oh, isn't it gorgeous?
I love
Well,
that.
it hit that spiritual, that Christian spiritual need that I personally have to just, okay, that means that I can just sit a while. I think it was Mark Twain said, never be afraid to sit a while and think, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I can just sit and I don't have to have food. It's just me and my thoughts and what's happening is my body then has a voice. Your body has a voice and it gets to tell you, hey, I think you're going to feel like crap if you eat that cheeseburger and french fries from Wendy's. Why don't we wait and, my gosh, make your own at home, which is better than that, or, eat avocado toast when you get home. But when she said that, a lot of things fell into place for me. And yes, I think I attribute what she says to what it means that we just very organically, we don't just say, okay, I'm going to eat healthy now. I have to eat healthy now. It just happens magically almost. And there's no really definite explanation for it, but it's because we have allowed our body to have its own voice instead of shoving it, quieting it with food all the time. Now we get to find out what it needs and what nourishes it.
We can actually hear it now.
Yes.
Whereas before it was all muttered from all that inflammation and all the junk you're just constantly putting in. It's amazing. It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
It's such a gift. I always use the word it's a gift. It's a gift. I feel that way. It is such a blessing to me, to you, to so many people. And what I'm doing and my purpose is to just share as much as I can. And help as many people as I can. And I know that's your passion too. I absolutely love it. We've talked a lot about non-scale victories, so I'm not really going to go into that because you have had so many off the scale. And so I just want to go backtrack a tiny bit into community and having a little village around us when we're living an intermittent fasting lifestyle. How important do you feel community is to the lifestyle?
I think it's like everything else. If you're going to be successful, and I'm not saying people can't be successful on their own, but to achieve optimum success, you need people around you who are like-minded. It's the same reason that I, as a teacher, without being told to, I talk to my peers all the time.
Sure.
Informally all the time, because if we're going to do, like right now, the emphasis is on ACT prep. If I'm going to do that optimally for my kids, then I need to get as much information from the other people who are doing the same thing so we can all come together and do it well.
Right.
But when I walk in my classroom, I don't teach it the same way that Angie does or that he does. I teach it my way, but because I'm a different person. It's the same thing with intermittent fasting. A community is, we all come together and we troubleshoot and we encourage and we support and we lean on each other. That's why I created my little Facebook group that I have, because there were people reaching out to me that I couldn't talk to on my personal Facebook page all the time. They needed somewhere to go where we could be just about that,
Absolutely.
And so it's not only to help them, Michelle, but it helps me, and you understand that too. It helps me. It helps reinforce my why, because it is a passion of mine. I'm a teacher. I have a teacher's heart. So to pass on what gift has been given to me is just part of who I am. And I feel very strongly that this was God's intervention in my life. And so it's very incumbent upon me to pass it along. And so community builds community. That's why it was a no-brainer. When Jen left Facebook, at first I was like, oh no.
Yeah, me
And
too.
then I just thought, yeah. But then I thought, I don't have to leave this. This is as important to me as anything else.
Yes, ma'am.
Why wouldn't I stay? I blow $60 on a pair of shoes and a shirt, once a year. So what does it matter?
It's 100%, I feel, very, very important. I mean, I understand if you're not, a social media person, and not everyone is, and I understand that.
Yeah.
Jen has a great private forum. There's other private forums out there that are great. But just having like my Facebook group now, I was like you, when she said she was going off of Facebook, I had my panic moment. And then I thought to myself, I have so many people in my life asking, wondering, I'm just going to start my own little group, which turned into not so little anymore.
Yeah.
But excuse me. But it was never intended to get that way. But I just felt this inherent need to pass on what I was gifted. And that's why I'm so grateful to Jen for writing Delay Don't Deny, the book that, brought me to intermittent fasting, and so many others, but also her community that she started on Facebook, because that's where I got my start. And I leaned on so many strangers, and so many strangers were cheering me on. I mean, where on earth do you find that? It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. It was like church, but like for losing weight and getting healthy.
Yeah.
And so it was absolutely great to have so many people that I don't even know, like in person. But now it's like I have like this little village of people that I feel like I do know, and I want to see succeed. And it's just such a beautiful thing to be able to pass down to everyone that I can possibly pass it to, and for you the same. So we're going to wrap up, and I always ask at the last part of the show about a tip you would give somebody if they were just to start out. But really at this point in the year, we're in almost late February, and there's a lot of people who, like you and me, had started in January, and they're kind of like reaching their last. I have a few clients reaching the end of their sugar stores, and they're kind of getting ready to flip that switch, and it's getting hard, but then it gets easier after that. That's when you become fat adapted. So what would you tell that person who's going through that really hard time right now, getting ready to flip that switch and become fat adapted? What would you tell them?
It's the same thing I told Jen. It's the same thing I tell all my people in my group and in Jen's group that are struggling. Hang in there. Hang in there. There's something so good on the other side, and it may only be an hour. It's just mere minutes away.
It really could be.
It really could be. We don't know. Nobody knows a picture of what's happening in real time inside the body. And so it could be just a few more minutes, and you're just a switch is going to flip, and then all of a sudden it's going to get easy. And there will be hard days after that. We go on vacation, we have holidays, we get sick, we have, trauma that happens, but then you don't have to hang in there quite as long. And if you can just hang in there, there is a gift. There's a gift on the other side. It's kind of like, the old game show where the window opened and what's behind this window.
Right.
You don't know. You're going to miss the blessing if you stop and if you throw in the towel now. So you have to hang in there, and you have to find your why. You have to find a why.
Don't miss the blessing. Don't miss that blessing. It's the best blessing you're ever going to get.
Oh yeah.
Total freedom from diet mentality, total freedom from, counting calories and points and taking weight loss pills and God knows what else. Please don't throw in the towel. If you're listening right now and you are struggling and you are at the getting ready, that's what's happening. If you're feeling like crap and you're feeling like I'm going to throw the towel in, your metabolic switch is about to flip. And we don't know when. It could be tomorrow, it could be in 2 weeks. But hang in there. Hang in there for that blessing, because
drink you some water. Drink you some water or some coffee, put some pink salt under that tongue, and just keep fasting. Stop stopping.
Stop stopping. Oh my gosh, I love it. Jen and I talked about stop stopping, and it's my new motto now. I love it.
Yeah.
Stop stopping.
She says it all the time, but it really, I know it just, everybody's like, well, duh. But if you could just stop stopping, you just don't understand what's on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I honestly, I talked to so many people like, oh, you intermittent fast. I did that. It didn't work. Well, did you stop? Yes. That's why it didn't work. So
it works. It's always working. It's always working.
It's always working if you're working.
Yeah.
So
it's always working.
Amy Jo, this has been so fun. I am so happy that we got to finally connect.
Yes.
And thank you for taking time out of your day off from, teaching your busy schedule. And gosh, that must be so hectic.
It is, but 2 more years and I can retire, and maybe I'll be doing what you do full time. I don't know. We'll see.
I love it.
I love talking about intermittent fasting. I mean, really, I do. I could talk for another 2 hours. So this was not any time out of my day. This was like a huge opportunity. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I mean, honestly, it's all here. It's all here. I'm so grateful for you being here with me. And if you like to talk about fasting, I'm here for you any time of the week. We could talk all day long about fasting. Love it. Amy Jo, thank you for being here. I feel so blessed that you've been, my guest today, and your episode will be coming out probably in the next week. So I will let you know. Yeah.
Yay.
Well, have a beautiful evening.
Thank you.
And I hope you have a good short work week this week.
Please.
You're almost, it's already Tuesday tomorrow.
I know. Yes, I
got this. All right, lady. Yes. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll talk. Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.